one of the things that can be a little tedious in Photoshop is we have so many tools, and those tools have so many different options. So for example, I go to use the crop tool. Well, every time I go to use it, I can either use it as is just by clicking and dragging, or I can put in some size. So if I know I want to go a ratio of 5:4, then that will constrain it. But that means every time I go to use it, I have to think about typing in that information. Well, that's where tool presets come in, and that's why they're so useful for both customizing Photoshop, but also really from an efficiency standpoint. Tool presets are found right here beside each in the options bar. Here's all the list of the tool presets. I'm going to click on current tool only, and you'll see that it has a series of built-in presets. So if I want an 8x10 at 300, instead of typing anything in, I just click on it and it fills in all the blanks for me. If it turns out that I want a 10x8, I can just use this little swap button. But the point is, before using the tool, I simply load in a preset and it does all the work for me. And this applies for lots of different things. For example, even a selection tool like the lasso tool doesn't have a lot of options, but it does have feather or not. Personally, I like to have no feathering, but sometimes I might want to have a specific amount, so I could easily create a tool preset for that. Here's an example of one that I choose all the time. Clone stamp tool. One of the things I discovered very early on using the clone stamp tool is I can have a lot of influence on the way it works by changing the blend mode and or the opacity. So for example, if I'm trying to clone over a problem that is a lightly colored pixel, then what I would often do is change the blend mode to darken. Well, instead of just doing that over and over again, I can do tool presets. I don't have any yet, so I can show you how it works. It's very simple. You just change the settings. So let's say I want to have all I want to do is have it set to darken and use all layers and aligned, and everything else is the same. So once I've done that, I come over here and just click on this for a new preset. It always wants to name the tool presets with the name of the tool you're using, but as you'll see, they kind of show up with the tool icon beside it. So personally, I don't have any reason to have that name there. So I would simply call this darken 100% and click OK. And then let's make a second one where it's set to say around maybe 80%. And once again, name that one. Then I'll make two more. One for when the problem is a dark color pixel. I want it to be in lighten mode. We'll do one at 80%. You can kind of get the idea of where we're going with this. And then finally, we'll put this back to 100% and make one more tool preset. Oops, that should be 100%. And click OK. All right, so let's go. Let's put this on some weird thing, like not that we would ever do this, but just for the sake of argument, that we had all these things going on. And then we went away, came back to use our clone stamp tool and went, oh, wait a minute, I need to set on my standard setting, so I changed that. Look at that, it all changes, or this one, or that one. So what it's really doing is cutting out the need for you to constantly be going up here to the options bar and changing it. Probably the prime example of where to use this is with type. How many times on projects do you end up using a similar typeface and size and everything for a particular project? So every time you enter some text and you have to highlight it and go in and say it's actually supposed to be Optima and it's like 50 and it's centered and it's red or whatever, okay, not red, whatever it is, and you click OK. Well, instead of remembering to do that over and over again, if this is a style or a look that you're going to use on a regular basis, before you do anything else, just go and make a tool preset. Now once again, you'll see it wants to call it horizontal type tool, blah, blah, blah. So what you can do is a couple of things. You can either just call it what it is, Optima 50. Now it always wants to put a 1 at the end for some reason. I don't know why. Centered white. Okay. Now you can name it like that, or as you see over here, I also have one called slide title to remind me what I use it for. That's a personal choice. Click OK. Alright, so once again, let's take a look at this. Let's pick some weird thing like this. and then delete that type layer. So I'm working away on a project, and I see now I had to add some type. I take my type tool. Now, here's the key to this, and this is the most important part of this whole lesson. Don't start typing yet. The mistake many people make is they think of this like paragraph styles in InDesign or in Word or something like that, where you type your text and then apply style. It doesn't work that way here. Remember, it's a preset, meaning the word pre, before you do anything. So look at what the type tool set up: playbill, regular, 142, etc. I say what I really want is this one. I click on it, it adds everything in there, then I start using it. Okay? Imagine how much time that can save you if you have tool presets up for various projects like that. And it's worth noting, in case it's not obvious, tool presets are not specific to any one document. So if I were to create a new document in a lovely tiny size apparently, and then switch, you see they're already there. So I can just go in and say, I really want to do this, although in this case probably would be better not to have white as my color. Okay. That's a weird question mark. Okay, but you get the idea, is that you set up these tool presets and they're built right in to Photoshop in any document. So imagine as you go through all the different tools you use where you think, I'm always changing that setting, just change it once and save it as a tool preset. And just one last thing about tool presets, there's a couple different places to access them. You can either, when you've chosen a tool, you'll see I have mine set to current tool only, so it shows me just the tool presets for that particular tool. But there actually is, not that I use it personally very often, but there actually is a tool preset panel. I'm not really sure why I'd want to use this when it shows up there anyway, but just in case you're interested, maybe the one way to use this would be just look at all the tool presets and see all the interesting choices. Some of them really interesting that Adobe gives us by default, like, let's see here, Starburst Color Target. Nice. Okay, so don't necessarily use the ones that Adobe gives you. Make your own. Fill with bubbles pattern. Ooh, nice. Oh, I can't do it on there because I'll put on the background. That'll be cool. Hey, now we're talking. Okay, so let me again stress, do not use the presets that Adobe gives you. Well, you could, but really the whole point is make your own. And when you go to use a particular tool, just remember this simple rule. Click on the tool, then choose the preset, then use the tool. And your life will be made simpler thanks to tool presets.